Hi guys, welcome to Synapse Pod. You will see different faces this time because one of our regulars is not here, so I'm the one who's hosting it. So there's Ayush, Avinash, Paris, and we have a new guest with us, Garv Malik. I think we don't have to introduce Garv to you, but we will still give the spotlight to him for him to introduce himself for the next 5 minutes. Also, like just for a background, I know Garv since the days when I was doing preparation for IIT coaching. Neither of us ended up in IIT. I ended up in DTU. He ended up in BITS. And we've known each other for more than 10 odd years now. And yes, this is plus he's been a stand-up comedian, writer, meme head, whatever, right? Like he's done so many different hats. Let's ask him to introduce himself, what he's doing currently, and how his journey has been in like a small brief.
Thank you so much, Synapse Pod team. I'm very excited to be here. And बाकी yes, मतलब मैंने as he said, I've donned so many hats. मुझे लगता है कि मैं अपनी पूरी लाइफ को एक वो टिकटॉक की ट्रांजिशन रील बनाऊंगा. ऐसे ऐसे कपड़े चेंज होते रहते हैं और फिर उसमें एक बार गर्दन भी घूमती है, but that's maybe not my own. So yes, I did engineering voluntarily, and I did civil engineering voluntarily. So you have evidence that I am like something's wrong with me. Then I like of course said कि coding jobs में नहीं बैठना, मेरे को civil engineering ही करनी है. So I sat for only one company, L&T, got placed. And मैं 6 साल से मतलब सिर्फ ऐसे सिविल कंपनी में जाने की तैयारी कर रहा था. 11-12 भी पता था कि सिविल लेनी. And then I took let's say 4 years of pure civil subjects, and then I quit that job in 3 months. And the basic learning from that part of my life was that do not plan. Because if I planned for 6 years and did it for 3 months, then it's clearly a waste of time. So now everything I've done has been irresponsible, erratic decisions, which means that then I took up a job in a startup called Shuttle. The entire process and the decision was made in less than 3 days. I stuck around in that company for 2 years. Then I decided to quit my job to do stand-up full-time. Again, I decided to do it in exactly 3 days, gave my handover in 3 days, and moved on. Did that for 2 years. Then apart from my own stand-up, started managing another comedian called Kunal Kamra, which one of the major reasons to do that was so that I could learn a lot more about comedy. But looking at the number of controversies he was in, I learned a lot about law. To an extent that all my school friends who are lawyers are jealous because I have the distinction of going to all possible courts, district court, Supreme Court, High Court, and they are waiting. They are waiting that probably after 6 more years of experience, they'll be allowed to represent Supreme Court cases.
Wow. Life happens to you has a new meaning today for me.
Yes. So then one fine day I was bored at home browsing LinkedIn. Somebody tagged me in a post that some random company, which I had not heard of, was hiring a chief meme officer. And my first instinct was this is a prank. But I was out of ideas for stand-up content. So I thought I will fill this form, do 1 or 2 rounds of interviews with them. And out of that, I will make 5 minutes of stand-up material. This was the pure intention. Then 4 days later, I joined that company as a full-time employee. It's been 1.5 years already. So let's see where and when it does. And of course, after joining them as the chief meme officer, Slice is the company, for those who are wondering, which is now a unicorn fintech company. And I have not made too many memes, but I have done YouTube, influencer marketing, now looking at college activations for them as well, and social media, of course. So, and yes, apart from this, I have written 2 web series, which were so good that producers said that these should not be made.
Were you paid though?
Yeah.
Then it's fine.
We got paid. The thing was that the first one, when they said, okay, we'll shoot it, but then pandemic came. Second one, we wrote during the pandemic so that after pandemic, it will be short. But then after pandemic, they're like, oh, let's write fresh scripts. because their employees came back to office. That script was written remote, and of course, no founder likes remote.
Okay,
Like,
that's another different topic.
हाँ मतलब founders hate remote so much कि वो क्या कहते हैं, they don't even change the channel on their Amazon Prime or whatever, because remote use करना पड़ेगा.
Wow.
Seems like Garv has been called to office now in Slice.
Oh yes, we go 3 days a week.
We can see Garv is not in Goa anymore, guys.
Not anymore.
Or Mumbai.
Of course. I was
in my head, Garv, in my head, like I'm not stereotyping or branding you in any way, but in my head, you are a LinkedIn comedian or an office culture comedian. I just look forward to everything that you write on, everything with respect to office cultures, founders, startups in general. Probably you're the only comedian whose bell icon I've pressed on Twitter. Like, I want to read this because somehow it's related to work only. And a lot of times in the form of jokes that you do or the fun things that you say, there are at times some harsh truths are also delivered. So it's fun, satirical in that sense. I love it.
Absolutely. Even on Twitter, right? Like, I think one of the niches that Garv has picked up, right, of being a comedian, but also from bits and an engineer, right? Like, I mean, sorry, engineer comedian is not a niche anymore, guys.
Yeah.
Everyone's an engineer comedian. Every engineer becomes a comedian.
I can name 5 more people with that exact pattern. Nishant Suri, Praveen Kumar, Shashwat Maheshwari. 2 of them have been to Comicstan. One of them has been a Comicstan, is the Comicstan Tamil judge. So,
okay. Sorry, let me rephrase it. Rephrasing it in the sense that at least your popularity has somehow catered to the startups and the business folks, where your LinkedIn reach outs and your Twitter reach outs. I mean, amongst all the popularity you get an 18 to 21-year-old male who are like, Garv is the king.
of course, I decided to zero down on it after I learned the concept of Tam, Sam, and Som.
That's where the death happens of so many things. It's crazy.
Coming to the main topic in mind, I thought it makes sense to just have a discussion on what should a startup's growth plans should look like, or a growth marketing plans. How do we market on different fronts? Like, essentially GTM is one of the difficult things to crack. And whenever you think of marketing, you think of, those
Social
catchy
media,
lineups, media, catchy lineups, some YouTube ads which become popular,
viral
or viral videos. But there's science behind it. Since
Yeah.
you've had so many of those things, let's start from there. Is there a science or is there no science, or how do you kind of categorize into it? How do you think of content for a unicorn like Slice? What is your ideology that goes behind it, other than what RBI allows?
So, there are 2 solutions in marketing for every problem. There is one which will get approved, get you a promotion, and you will then later figure the right way to justify it.
Yeah.
So, basically you selectively look at numbers. And the other is that will talk to your users, and your surveys may or may not say, because your surveys also go with your own bias, but you will at least impact users to a certain extent. And of course, it always depends on what stage of when let's say you are less than 20 employees just starting out, you can directly speak to customers. So again, of course, building a social media page is a longer term game. ऐसा नहीं कि यार अभी 5 customer, especially if you're in B2C, कि 5 customers हैं and then we start focusing on social media and ads and everything. You'll need different things. You'll probably need partnerships. You'll need either some creators to sample your product, depending on what category or what pricing you're in. Of course, if you're in B2B, then you will need your personal network, give out free trials, do some extra servicing there. Then as the stage grows, then that's when you start looking at 4 or 5 channels in parallel. One person looks at performance. Social media also is looked at for growth. And we also need to remember that nobody looks forward to a brand post in most cases. Like if you remove your company from the equation, ask yourself whose post are you looking forward to the next morning? And the answer can vary from Dan Bilzerian to Dhruv Rathi, but it will never ever be this headphone company or this card company or this skincare company.
That's super true. Paras,
But
do you
happened in
want
the
to add
case
on
of
here?
Zomato and Swiggy for sure. Dunzo for the matter of fact.
But I don't know. I know a lot of people who love Zomato's marketing, but still order from Swiggy.
So it has a
Yeah, there are four of us on this call itself.
Yeah. Like today only I was asking Ayush, do you have the discount coupon? Do you have the free
Swiggy one.
delivery? Let me shift my,
Uh,
loyalty there itself.
Gaurav,
India Swiggy. वही वाला.
okay, then a lot of brand managers have done their MBA and they have learned the term brand loyalty, so they use it. But what they should use is called discount loyalty.
Nice. Yeah.
That is definitely there.
give me 60% off and watch me switch platforms.
60, those
Like on top of 50 is what I'm saying. Like 50 and 60. The delta is 10 only.
See, even the richest of folks right now have time to calculate that, okay, this card will give me this reward points, and then I transfer it to Marriott Miles, and then I transfer it to this airline and whatever, and then figure to a way to probably get one free airline ticket, and then write a Twitter thread about it on and then
My credit cards are good.
And then also there are clubs, Slack groups where people just discuss credit card points.
Wow.
That's
And-
so even
and-
yeah.
And these are the people who can buy a car every month.
Exactly.
And now you feel that 450 rupees face wash, they will have brand loyalty. Good luck.
I mean,
That's-
even the same thing that was happening with Kunal Shah was talking about credit, that they have a very high paying individual on their credit club, credit platform, but eventually they are there for discounts, right? So, I mean, we have seen so many products on credit and everything is being driven by discount. So, yes, whatever you're saying is making totally sense.
I see it a little differently. I do agree that the discount loyalty exists, but I don't agree that the discount loyalty entirely exists because of the cost saving factor. So in a way, discounting also has become a game for a lot of people and they just want to win the game. And brand is okay playing the game. So this is what I was having a conversation at one point of time. I was talking to Varun from Mama Earth. He was kind enough to give me some time. And we were speaking on this. I was like, dude, I've been acquiring a significant amount of customers by offering a discount. Is that okay? So he was like, yeah, it's absolutely okay. As long as the only thing they don't remember about you is the discount. So eventually, of course, the product has to perform, but you have to understand that the customer is trying to play the game of maximizing his discount, trying to probably live with this validation that he or she has made the best deal of their life with this transaction. So either you play the game or you sit out of the game. Why do you want to sit out of the game? You just jump into the game. So then we sort of doubled down on a lot of things. And eventually, I think I later realized it wasn't really about the money for a lot of people. It was just that high that they get from playing the game and winning it and outsmarting the brand, which is 3,000 crores in revenue. And the high is next level for them. So,
like I scammed 40 rupees or $1 from $1 billion company. Do you see how big I am?
yeah.
I am the next Bill Gates for that matter.
But for the matter of fact, actually, we do talk a lot, right? That even if we get a MacBook or an iPhone, but still we are trying to optimize on the very small things. Or even if we are planning a trip to Europe with a budget in mind of 5 lakhs, yet we are optimizing on that 500 rupees for different airlines. So I think it is definitely a game, or I think it's a matter of fact. You talk about it, right? Hey, you got a bad deal, I got a better deal than you. So I think that psychological kick is definitely there.
It's a matter of pride. One of the things which I've realized, and this is not something I had realized before, we as founders, right? Like we are like, hey, we're using a tool which is basically an automation tool that we use for our website, and we're using a free tool. It allows us to do 15 things in a day, not more than that. We have one sales employee in the US. The first thing he does is, let's buy a subscription, right? Let's buy a premium, like within a day. He wants to pay for premium because it's going to save his time to do all of the things which a free user can do, but through like half an hour or 1 hour of extra work. Otherwise, it will just be automated in 2 minutes. I will pay $20 for my time. He was like, it's just $20. Why are you even bothering to speak about it? And I'm like, we've been using it for a month. No one has paid. Why?
Yeah, I
And he's
remember
like,
Manik and I were first impulsive answer was why?
why?
And we were like, why not?
Fuck by
And that's just, I just think it's an Indian ideology where we want to save each rupee. It's basically a pride associated with saving. And how do you, like, I don't think so on Amazon, anything sells for its price ever. I have yet to see one product saying my price is 5,000 rupees. I'm going to sell for 5,000 rupees.
But guys, at
So
the
there are
same
some
time,
categories where discount.
yeah, I was coming to that
feel
first.
like
Let me say
only.
that.
Like
I'll
you
miss
don't
that
want
point.
a discount.
Jewelry. Agreed.
No,
Jewelry, yeah.
That's a
Gold.
cosmetics.
Yeah, gold discount, right? Like, hey.
But what about, let's say, we could all download movies and shows from torrent. We were all were doing that, right? And when Netflix and Prime Videos came, the convenience factor did kick in. And
No, Avinash, you got richer actually. A lot of people still watch it on Telegram. Only the platform has changed. So
but
there's a significant amount of people who still like download it from Telegram or something.
The
but
quality
no,
and
yeah.
the amount of time
So there's a
that goes
significant
waste.
amount of. I'll tell you why. So we
Hmm.
positioned Leaf as a binge watchers brand, right? And we had asked them which is your favorite OTT platform choice or whatever, and there was this other section that we had as the fourth or fifth option. Quite a lot of people filled that. It was filled with Telegram. Like, how the fuck do you stream on Telegram? How does that work? What are you saying? Telegram is an OTT platform. Why do I not know this?
Oh wow.
No, but of course, what you're saying is not entirely wrong. Probably millennials have more shifted and people have found their own new ways. But yes, convenience does cover up for a lot of. You can command some sort of premiums on that. But Garv, about the social media bit that you were talking, Ayush has had a very strong observation recently over past 3-4 months where he has been showing me posts by multiple brands which are
Yeah.
not at all related to the brand itself. Ayush, do you want to throw some light on that?
Yeah, for example, there's a brand called Room, which is definitely into not talking about office things, but they have been making reels about what's happening in the office or whatever things that are happening. Similar, some of the brands have been tracking that they are making memes or content which is not related to their brand altogether. I mean,
Like
what kind of
nothing.
nothing, like zero connection with the brand
Like
altogether.
they're like, I'll tell you, Let's Broom is making content which I would put on my channel, which has no brand integration, like complaining about office by coming
Correct.
on how
Correct.
hard it is to come to office on Monday.
But why would someone do that? I don't get it.
Why not? The point is, if you will sell, then nobody will watch. Now nobody comes to social media to see ads.
But why is it the internal team succumbing to the algorithm that this is what works? We have to rake in the numbers, and someday we will leverage this. But I'm not sure whether that someday will ever come because every reel starts practically from scratch only. The virality is hardly dependent on the past views.
Okay, I'm saying that I feel they are the brave ones who have been, let's say, willing to take the risk, which traditional market is will not say, yeah, there is no brand correct or purpose. They want to put their exact same color so that every reel looks same, and then people skip it because they feel they've seen it. They want the thumbnails to follow a pattern or branding guidelines, which also makes people feel ki, हाँ, ये तो same ही video होगा. Sorry, like it would look like the same video. I will say they are taking it courageously. The thing is that once you have distribution, you can always share and sell and everything. But if your reach is always low, and even if you, because in today's world, number of followers or number of subscribers doesn't matter.
Okay.
Because all of you take how many YouTube channels have you subscribed to, or how many people do you follow on Instagram? Probably 500, 600, 300,
Yeah,
whatever.
Right.
You see 25 people in your Instagram feed, which are your close friends, or you just interact with them, or your crush who you stalk or whatever. Point is that if you follow 600 people and you don't see more than 60 people in your feed, you are a dead follower for the 540 people.
Yeah.
Same for YouTube. You hardly see most of the creators that you've subscribed to, and you see new creators that you have not subscribed to. And the platforms also, because the platforms want the creators to keep getting that high, that okay, our subscriber base is growing, you should keep doing, and then they can also charge more from the brands. I feel in current times, creators or any content channel, let's say even if it's the brand page, you're as good as the engagement on your last 3 posts.
Okay.
Uske, the remaining is like your 6th, 7th, 8th standard marks. Good that you got them, but today they won't help. If Droom is trying that, then one, they have that engagement. Two, the creators, there are a lot of creators who we see a lot of times. We have not followed them yet, but we remember their name and their face or their handle. Like somebody might be called Dil Se Paneer or something like that. So you have Droom as a recall ki haan, ye Droom se aata tha. And if their characters are also the same or recurring, or they keep that consistency level, so those people will also keep getting recognized. OK Tested is a beautiful example of how the anchors have their own individual personal brand, and they again were just doing crazy stuff in the videos, and now their own Instagrams have also blown up.
Got it.
So now all of the now whenever you see a OK Tested anchor anywhere, you're like, his name is this and he's the OK Tested guy. The brand already travels with them.
Yeah, but carry following that same thought, a lot of brands come up with an idea of a brand evangelist or a brand figure, whether it's from a celebrity world or whether it's the most relatable person of their user base. And the same person is coming back and forth and the one who's mainly driving the traffic. But when you bring this point that you are as good as your last 3 posts, so how does this brand evangelist thing sustain in this competitive world or literally no loyalty world?
Well, one, the reason a lot of people opt, like all celebrities do 1-year-long contracts,
That's it.
and
Yeah.
every influencer agency also pushes to get a retainer. But the truth is, this helps, like this reduces the recurring effort a brand manager and influencer marketing will have to do. They are optimizing for that ki, and saying ki long-term results aa jayega. I know that I stand to lose by saying this, but if the same creator or the same film star is pushing the same brand month on month, the amount of users that the brand gets is less. Matlab, like for a few creators that I did retainers, first month if I got 1200 users, the next month I got 900, the next month I got 600, because most of their recurring or loyal followers have already seen it, and they've evaluated or they've already converted.
It's not more anymore like the Tata thing. If you put Tata anywhere and it will become like a brand. So you have the same figure, let's say Amitabh Bachchan or Shah Rukh Khan. So is it like the changing behavior of Gen Zs and millennials?
He's saying
or-
from the reach point of view, Avinash. So let's say if I get a Virat Kohli,
Not from the
post
trust
about
point of view,
me
okay.
today, it's going to have like 2 million likes. Sure. Second post, the impact of it, not measured by likes, but by the mindshare, new mindshare that it acquired, would be lesser, and subsequently on the third, fourth, fifth post. So it is in my interest to keep hopping a cricketer or a Bollywood star or a web series star rather than sticking to one for far too long.
Interesting.
Stops to move the needle.
That's
Actually,
an
we are
interesting
seeing
angle.
so many brands around that are like shifting their influencers or the celebrities so fast that 6 months prior to 6 months, I saw a celebrity with one brand, and like after 3 months or 6 months, I'm seeing it to another brand. So that is actually happening too fast and too quick these days, and that is because of the recency effect. Any brand wants to, as Paras just said, that brands just want to increase their reach, and they're hopping onto different celebrities in order to bank on their reach, because one celebrity is not going to increase their reach, its own reach, his own reach in that faster manner as compared to hopping the celebrity. So yeah, definitely that is why brands are hopping onto celebrities to
Interesting.
have
That sounds like a celebrity has much to lose by hopping brands, but brands always have something to gain.
Brands always have something to correct.
Just makes me realize the whole creator economy that was coming in, not the creator economy, also in the sense of all these influencers having influence beyond the reach, right? Everyone wanted to be an influencer. Everyone wanted to be famous on that. Everyone's doing reels or just posting different things. That will not actually pay out, because the audience being reached is, if it's very similar, after a point that it's going to be just a long tail of people, and only some will make the major chunk of money. That's what I think will happen, right? Like there will only be a couple of Mr. Beast or Kim Kardashians or India's, the topmost guys. Everyone else will just be a long tail of people who try to do it, sold like 10 or 50, because if brands can't sell it from them, they themselves becoming brands would also not help.
80-20 rule. Top 20% creators will make it. They even make 80% of the money right now, and they will future. No, and the thing is that all of their success bias, or I don't know what it's called. Everybody says that I kept making videos for 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, whatever years, and then I made it. I'm like, ask the world or ask YouTube. Give us the percentage of people who kept on making videos for 5 years. What percentage is succeeding? You might be surprised that the success percentage might be less than IT or IIM also.
Yeah.
Or how much of the success of a successful influencer / celebrity can be attributed to consistency than virality of 2-3 posts. So I'm sure, like, for the 5 years when they were making, probably they were just increasing the surface area for luck to hit on one particular video, which turned a guy into a Bhuvan Bam or a guy into probably a Mr. Beast, and then the compounded over top of that.
Money giving away money. Varun Pruthi was also doing. Mr. Beast was also doing.
Yeah, he just unfortunately didn't turn out to be Mr. Beast.
I think he got viral with that video, right, where he had put some fake blood and he was like, my accident has happened. Please stop.
Yeah, please help. And then people didn't help. Then he gets up and then scolds them. You all didn't help, huh?
So what's the like content or marketing campaign that you are most proud of, let's say?
What's your favorite one? Okay, let's ask, what's your favorite one in like past 2-3 years?
So there's one which I think Fee or Five, whatever how it's pronounced, Epify did with there's a comedian called Saurav Ghosh. He made a video ad where he was presenting a deck. His face is not visible. Like you scrolling Instagram ads or YouTube and you see an ad where somebody is showing a Google Docs ka sheet. And in that, he of course makes it funny, shows the benefits of using it and everything. And I felt this was actually making it innovative. Like everybody was thinking, okay, we'll either do animated things or we'll get someone to record or we'll get some great text and flashy videos to come in. But he used regular computer interface, which was recognizable, and then got the message across.
I can hear the word relatability is something that's coming back and forth for people to stick.
And I'll go back a little here. You mentioned that the Tata thing would not work. Of course, what Tata's did was right at the time, because at that time people were probably watching 20 to 30 ads a day.
Yeah. Right.
Now we are watching them we are probably watching 200 ads a day in different places, including even when we watch our favorite, let's say TV. Even if you watch one episode of Pictures, there are 3 brand integrations.
Yeah.
And you're watching it on Z5, so very high chance that you might see an ad or 2 as well.
I think the only stickiest ad we all remember, we must be remembering from the TV era, the latest one is Fog that we were talking in the car. Like after that, we haven't come across sticky ads because definitely. Obviously.
I was talking the other day, the Naukri.com ad, right? The name of your boss, Harisadu. H for Hitler, A for arrogant. You know, that was so sticky that the main reason for people to leave their job or to find a new job was because of a bad manager. So that's the one that sticks to me the most.
Another interesting observation that I've had recently, that the lust for VFX and rendered videos somehow has gone down over past few years. Like it used to work phenomenally well for a lot of product companies. Like they would go viral also. Somehow it's not happening. Probably the thirst trap has moved from rendered videos to somewhere else, but but clearly it doesn't exist in the products. Like you don't see a lot of VFX being used, right? People can be so innovative graphically with a lot of that, but hardly you see it. The narrative did shift to stories being selling more in, like you tell a short story through your content. Somehow that also fizzled out somewhere because probably the attention span is so low that get away with doing a funny joke or a meme. Jingles somehow I think made a comeback with cred. That was fun. The jingles made a comeback.
What do you guys think of the Lenskart ads? I think it's such a pathetic.
It's funny. It's funny, right?
Karan Johar's ad. Karan Johar, like
I did
sell it for 1 lakh rupees at least.
I thought it was so similar to cred. I thought it was a cred ad is what I'm watching, is what I initially thought of.
I would not be shocked if the team behind it is.
It's the same team. It's the same team.
But I mean, what about you, Garv? Like, what are the kind of brands that you're seeing that are doing very good kind of marketing or branding that are getting the attention of the people, able to get the attention of the people for a longer duration and that not on a very short span of time.
So again, in ads, like of course, one there is you put in creativity. The second is the amount of money you burn on the distribution. So most companies are like they just hide their bad ads using more money on distribution. I'll say that there are a couple of there's one is a small startup called Spenny, Vicom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ratin Shah. So they make low budget but very good hard hitting ads. And they're all made by young teams. And I know that if they went through 3 rounds of approval or some brand manager and then a director and a separate team for everything was involved, it would probably not see the light of the day.
So
Thanks,
basically, we have
Paras.
seen that a lot of people are doing podcasts from Cred to even ClickBuzz and all those brands. How do you think that is this thing working out for brands or not? And if yes, then how?
So one, there's a reason. Well, again, of course, there will probably be a day when that those numbers are public. But you can see how many times, at least artists can see how many times a song has been. Well, okay, I think that's true for both. Spotify doesn't make the number of views public for podcasts,
Oh.
right?
Okay.
Because if they did, it would bruise a lot of egos. We have a lot of, let's say, high reputation and high net worth folks who do podcasts because it's considered the medium of intellectual folks. And the charges for advertising in them is also very high. But well, they are good pieces of content, but I feel the numbers are very small. They could be very impactful as well. That only time will tell. What I see in a lot of US podcasts is that they give out coupon codes, and everybody in the marketing space is like they've linked it to incentives, or they at least are tracking. But a lot of creators, in like, of course, as a creator, I also don't want to give out that coupon code and get into that tracking because my job is not sales, and irrespective of how many people convert, that would be a function of the product also. But I have offered all my distribution, which I built with X amount of hard work, so that logic also holds. But podcast, yes, of course, it's the rich man's place to advertise. I am not sure that everybody can or everybody should. And quoting Puneet Pania here, you either die a hero or live long enough to become a content creator.
Content.
No, but I have a little parallel observation on this. So
I think Ankur Wariku can actually take that in. And he's making 27 crores in revenue, man. Like, that was crazy.
Yeah,
but that's from selling his course, right?
Yeah,
Selling
he's
his
an
course, book, and a lot of
he-
other things.
he's an entrepreneur turned into content creator, so he knows how to make money, which he's doing. But like adding on to Avinash's question only, that so there are people who are doing who are producing content, doing podcasts, but then there are founders who are, apart from running their business, like Shantanu Deshpande, who's in Bomb Shaving Company, or Cred Curious from Kunal Shah. I mean, they are doing podcasts with their brand and their company's brand in front, and then talking about different stuff with people coming on the show. Is it for personal brand building or increasing the outreach of their brand? Because in the past also people used to write books in order to do that. Now people are doing the similar things I see in terms of podcast. Is that the similar strategy what people are trying because of the new age of content consumption?
What I feel is that rich and famous have a complementary relationship. People who become rich now suddenly feel hollow and incomplete and want to become famous. And people who become famous then realize, okay, fame doesn't matter enough. Now I need the money.
No, but I have seen a different side also that a podcast I was doing in the US market for Tomo Club, those who really wanted to buy us or really wanted to use the services, they've actually gone through our podcast, saw the webinars, saw the videos, even the hires that I was trying to look for, they have done that, reading and watching all the shows. So I found that that was a very different um, observation because I've never felt that it's going to have that much impact. But that was crazy because informed buyer, or especially a product in which there is not an impulsive purchase but a more informed purchase, over there these kind of content creates the maximum amount of trust for them to convert, that oh, this guy is actually making a lot of sense. They can understand the philosophy behind the product, they can understand their motivations, their vision, and whether it is for them to join the team or whether it is for them to buy the product. So I realized that okay, this thing is I have to still gonna do it, irrespective I'm gonna get 5 views or 500 views, because even one person comes and views it properly, serve my purpose.
US, I agree, is a different market. And then, matlab, I'm very ill-informed, and what I'm making is a pure random guess. But how I will compare it is by the AirPods penetration. US has it much higher, so they can, whether they're in a subway or wherever, that they'll listen to podcasts. In India, we have a fashionable hobby that people watch reels on loudspeaker while in a public transport. So technically, it's a group watching party where 3 people have not given consent.
Plus, about that podcast thing, I think startup scaling like really fast has 2 branding challenges. One is for the customer, other becomes for hires. So the metric of success for this long form content being done, especially by founders who are into consumer internet business, the only sensible thing that I see is it's for hiring. Because I do have this habit of asking people, where would you have worked if you were not working in this company, or where would you want to do a job if you left this company? And somehow the answer comes to a brand whose founder or someone has been doing some podcast like that, because people early on into their careers, early on, I mean, first 3-4 years, are watching such content, right? With respect to whether it's wealth creation or with respect to how to grow, etc., in an organization. And somehow these people get the views. So there is this perception built inside that, oh, this company is great because its founder is great, so I want to work at this company. So,
But
do so
Paras,
much more to attract talent. This is probably definitely worth a shot to do, especially when you have a team in place to do it.
That's true. But you know what? Even though so much social media is there, yet a mass market of branding came when it was on TV. For example, with Shark Tank,
It is still TV.
all the founders, they in whatever bubbles they were, on whatever influence they were, that just became so huge once they came to a mainstream television, and that was like a next level altogether.
Are you talking about Shark Tank?
Yeah, it became a household names, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Absolutely. Before we, take it one step forward, I just want you guys to think of a small brand, someone who has not done more than a Series A, because anything above Series A, I think they have enough money to spend on marketing that we all would be at least aware of. But anyone who's below a Series A, and you guys have thinking they have absolutely killed it in terms of their marketing material or things which they're doing or how they're growing. Go for it, Paras.
Sure. It's not less than Syria right now, but it was at one point of time, and I was very vocal about it. And this is probably one of my hobbies that I want to spot a brand before it becomes very big. So Sleepy Owl was one brand which I thought had beautiful aesthetic. And of course, my lens to look at the brand was not what kind of virality that they will hit. My lens was how aesthetically appealing can a brand be on social media, that just by looking at it, you are ready to pay the premium for the product. So my metric was entirely different when I was analyzing that brand. I was like, this is very interesting. Can you visually create the willingness to pay a premium for a product just through your social media? And I think Sleepy Owl was doing a killer job even when they were at 500 followers. I was like, this brand is going to go big. Okay, you just look at their logo and like, I can't say the same thing about Bira, though I have heard a lot of people saying the same about Bira, but I don't know, because I got to know Bira when it became big. But Sleepy Owl was that moment for me where I saw like visual identity is something else, and the social media that they're doing is not getting viral, but they're clearly, I'm willing to pay a premium. So that was very, very exciting in early stages that I saw.
Yeah. Garv?
I'll still stick with Spenny, the finance app.
Oh, yeah.
Because they have like every idea that they've picked up, it's the most frugally done way. There is no, let's say, there's nothing that you can shave. So it's quick to execute. It's well thought of, and there is no, how do I say? there's no loss on the campaign due to egos or seniority or anything like that, which you can easily identify in a lot of brand ads.
Nice. Avinash, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I remember Paras was the one who was marketing it very well. Was Stage app,
Yeah.
basically the regional OTT that they had. I think I do not know if I saw any marketing advertisement of them, but the growth of them was so much happening in the very small niche itself, which was not small, Punjab, Haryana. So I think those definitely stuck my mind.
Ayush?
Actually, I have a couple of brands that that come onto my radar because one, I follow a lot of artists and different kind of people that I also call doing. I mean, they also do follow a certain branding, and I relate. I could figure out that okay, this branding relates to this person, this branding relates to that person, and then there are a lot of D2C products which are making products in India, maybe manufacturing in India. Like there's a clothing brand called Rare Rabbit. So they have a very distinct
Yeah.
branding, and it's very. I mean, whenever you'll see it, you'll be able to understand, figure it out. Then there's a shoe brand that I've also talked about with you guys about it. 710. So it's a 710 shoe brand, making very unique designs, and they always pop up into my radar. Then there's an artist called Amrit Pal who makes 3D caricature toy faces, right? So beautiful. So I mean, these are the kind of brands and people you have. They are like building great brand for themselves for sure.
If I have to say, right, like when I thought of the whole truth, I think he was one of the first
yeah.
founders to came on board and be like, hey, this is what's not going to work. But there are two other brands which have captured the market really well, greater than. I think there was a time when all the gen which I was seeing in
Yeah.
any party was greater than. And the last is if anyone has a dog nearby, heads up for tails, right?
Heads up.
It's crazy. Like they have actually killed up the whole pet market in a really nice way. Like I see a lot of it.
I do not know a brand before that. Honestly, it feels like that.
Heads up for tail before heads up for tail.
But the fun
before
fact
Heads
is
Up for
that
Tail.
they became a brand later. Actually, they were
Yeah.
mostly selling other
Marketplace.
brands' products. They were a aggregator actually
The
to begin
multi-retail.
with, and they had these salons and everything. Then I started using
Now,
it.
there are still a multi-retail store in some way. They still have options.
They
But
still
now,
have. It makes sense because people want imported products. The margins are high.
it was like an e-commerce now
But
in the beginning, or
But
offline.
yeah, with content, I think if I have to specifically talk about content that Heads Up for Tail does, it's crazy that it makes me feel that even if I go in the same category, I have no chance to win. Like very few brands can make a D2C founder feel like that. It's like I'm set to lose in that category, even if I love dogs so much, because they love it to some other level. And it's just in their blood, it's in their DNA. It's very tough to win there.
And the best part is that dogs are not running after discounts. They don't care who the brand ambassador is.
A brand ambassador, that brings me to a very interesting answer that I heard from a guy who so there's this brand, Two Organic Farms. Have you heard of it? Very cool brand. So they do dairy products, a lot of them, and of course all organic, very transparent, everything. So I met one of the co-founders, and he was a co-panelist with me. And I was discussing with him that, what are your thoughts on brand ambassadors? Like, aren't you planning to take one because you're doing well?
Yeah, that's true.
He was like, we've had offers from celebrities, some of the celebrities who are willing to do it practically for free. And I was like, okay. And then he probably sensed the sarcasm in my voice, and he was like, no, I'll show it to you. So he opened the WhatsApp message of that celebrity, and it is true that she was saying that I want to do it for you for free. But I was like, why are you not doing it then? He was like, we've talked to our customers, and their thought is that the moment you get a celebrity on this brand, the trust will go down with the brand, which is very interesting, because if it felt in some way that the brand which has been built on trust, the moment it starts to adopt very inorganic methods of growth, the customer can actually start to lose trust on that particular brand itself. I was like, wow, what are you saying? What are your
That's
thoughts
a
on this,
first.
Garv? Have you felt this, or have you sensed this somehow across our friends?
You tell me who's the celebrity face for Tata, for Dettol, or for ICICI Bank.
But
Parle
Club
G.
doesn't have a brand ambassador. How?
Parle
wow.
G. See, the thing is that either you have a product that's so good that people love you for you and you establish that trust over time. And if you can't, then there's always marketing.
But yeah, is there anything that you would like to touch upon, in this overall topic? Memes. We didn't discuss the memes for the matter of fact.
Memes, like if you like memes works on opposite rules of brand creatives. Like if they're aesthetic, if they're very well edited, they're sharp images, then I'm sorry, it's going to fail. Because
It's not funny anymore. Yeah.
it's not funny. It looks like you can't relax. Your guard goes up. Okay, is he trying to sell me something or like ever try uploading a 4K meme and see, like it will not travel as much as your regular shit quality memes do somehow.
No, but I love to reply back a lot of times with memes. It's a fun way, I think. And that's why, Giphy or meme chat exists in this world.
Yeah. So my brother works at Meme Chat. It's a very interesting company. Like they do keyboards, people reply with memes. And it's funny that I even don't have Meme Chat, but I still reply with memes a lot of times. So,
Yeah, so do I.
It's funny.
It might be a very boring question, but from not from marketing memes and all, but from a stand-up comic point of view, like you were talking about, Manik was mentioning about a conversation with your friend who was blown away by how much money startup made and blown away by how much money a stand-up comic made. So definitely a lot of people, a lot of startup comic in the past few years have come up and have made name in the industry. But since you working in a corporate life as well as having a stand-up comic in the parallel, what do you suggest or what do you think would be way forward for stand-up comics or people who are there into the creative writing process, creative communication process, should see their career going forward, and what can be the approach that other people can follow?
So speaking about the unit economics of comedy, one, like don't quit your job unless you start making the same amount of money that you make in a job for 6 months in a row. Two, the unit economics of traveling to different cities will only make sense if you start selling at least 100 tickets in a city. So if earlier than that, and because you only do show in the weekend, so technically you'll not make what your week is worth. Of course, do travel and do shows, but then let's say have another source. And third and most important thing, like even if you start comedy right out after college, keep another, so like plan for another source of income in the first 5 years itself, because comedy, just like any other celebrity thing, 90% of us will get irrelevant in 5 years. The comedians you amazingly enjoyed 5 years ago, and not just comedians, I always give this example that Shan is still a great singer, but there is some reason you all moved on to Arijit Singh, then Prateek Kuhad, now Anuv Jain. Nuclear was the shiz when he came, and now somehow people moved on to Ritviz, and will probably move on to something else as soon as something comes up. So find another source of income or revenue, or have another skill that will survive you for the remaining of your life.
Now he had this whole model around what is inverted passion, but that's a very businessy topic. But more importantly, I was like, yeah, this makes sense that if something is passionate and if that's the only income stream for you, of course it can work. It does work for a lot of people, but it also does not work for a lot of people. Like Garv was saying, if you see the stat on people who have done videos for 5 years and not reached anywhere, that also number would be very high.
Yeah, every Bollywood celebrity is also a businessman, right? Running multiple things in parallel. So of course you have to do it anyhow, because you don't know when the tide of time may turn against you.
All right, guys, let's end this on a happy note. I would say, let's ring the bell icon.
Okay, like, share, comment, and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to subscribe Garv's social media handles. We'll put it in the description.